Hello and welcome to the October 2023 Numerology and Lunar Forecast. As we dive in, I want to make sure that we aren't just taking this information, thinking it's really cool, and then not coming back to it and not paying attention to it. The reason I do these forecasts, not only for this community, for my audience online, but also for myself, so that we can leverage this information to our advantage. It's not just cool, it's useful. So we want to make sure that we're not just taking it in and going, okay, that's really cool, and then just going back to the day to day and not paying attention. So I invite you to come back to this forecast often. I invite you to book a reading with me so we can deep dive into what you're experiencing for the month. I've got an announcement about that later after this forecast. And I want you to make sure that you're looking at your calendar and actually making a plan to implement as I go through this. It's great information, but it's worthless unless you do something with it. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Cindy. I am passionate about helping motivated healers and coaches really embody the rhythm and flow of divine timing so that you can create your signature offer, create sustainable revenue, and get paid for your gifts. So important. Yes? All right. October brings in the energy of the 8, momentum. Momentum, speed, things are going to move very, very quickly. And as per usual, when I start channeling, I get too warm. So here goes the sweater. Okay, every time. Okay, we begin the month of October with an 8 of diamonds. We end the month with the 4 of hearts. We're also rolling with ruling numbers of deep creativity. So it's important to recognize that in the 8, we can get caught up in a story we're telling ourselves. We can get caught up in other people's stuff. We can get caught up in the noise of the world. The news might all of a sudden blow up with things and we'll get totally distracted. And the 8 is saying, maintain your integrity, maintain your independence, and stay focused. So the month of September has carried the energy of the 7, and it's been very distracting. There's been a lot of noise. There's been a lot of shiny objects. And the 8 says, okay, you've been focused. You've been doing the thing. Mars is saying hello. He's really interested in my candle. And you've been doing the things. You've been focused. You've been taking action. You've been learning to trust yourself. And the 8 says, keep going. So the themes for October are all about momentum, creation, flow, value, commitment, we're going to talk about that, and staying the course. Don't get distracted now. You are 3 feet from gold. Keep going. That's really the key here. Now, October is going to feel very fast-paced. It's going to go by like, boom, blink of an eye, it's gone. So we want to make sure you are leveraging that, taking advantage of that, and not getting lost in all of the noise and then looking up at the end of the month going, what just happened, right? So as I go through this, I've got a lot of notes, because there's a lot of energy in October. And remember, use this to your advantage. Don't just think it's cool information and then put it aside and not look at it again. The replay will be available on my website, on my YouTube channel, in this Facebook group. So you'll have the opportunity to come back to it and listen to it again, right? All right. So October. Everybody, if you're here live or on the replay, take a deep breath, because it's going to be fast. It's going to be so fast. Can you post the notes? Take your own notes, come back to it. Replay is available. You'll be able to press pause. All is well, Tammy. All is well. All right. And I'm coming in every week with a forecast to remind you also of this energy. But October, we want to really be focused on what's most important to you and why. So if you don't yet know what your top 3 values are, you need to know them. You need to know deep in your core what's most important to you, and not only what's most important to you, but why. And you need to be able to feel the reasoning behind it, not from a mental perspective of it's important to me because I want safety and security, but it's important to me because that feeling state. You need to be able to feel it in every cell of your body and activate it on a regular basis. You should be doing that all the time, but definitely in the month of October. And I heard the word should. Do what you want, do what you will with this information, but I highly recommend that you are tapping into that because it will help you stay focused. The month of October is going to, and I don't love this expression, but separate the men from the boys. It's really going to show who's ready, who wants to move forward, who's dedicated and devoted, and who's going to get pulled off track. So this is an opportunity to take action in the direction of what you want, to tap into that flow and that momentum, and to take action. No excuses. None of this, I'm too tired, the energy's too wild, the full moon got me, my family's doing this and that, or I'm at the whim of this or that, or I don't have time, or I don't have money. All of these excuses are simply stories that you're telling yourself. And October energy is coming in saying, do you still want to tell that story, or are you ready for your extraordinary? You get to decide. You can hang on to those stories and stay attached to them all you like, or you can choose something differently. I think we get confused with the law of divine timing, thinking that it's up to the universe. There is a very specific point in the divine timing cycle where you must become actively involved. This is it. This is it. So if you've been waiting for divine timing, know that you have a choice. You are not at the whim, and it is your job to take responsibility for that choice and to take action, no matter what's going on outside of you. So pay attention to those stories that you're telling yourself. Pay attention to what's going on. During October, we've got 2 lunar cycles with eclipse coming in. So eclipse season is upon us. It is setting us up for the big solar eclipse happening in April of 2024. This is an opportunity to change the entire trajectory of your experience and to step into your extraordinary. Whether you consider your life and your experience to be extraordinary now or not, go for more. It can always be more extraordinary. It can always be more. So I want to kind of break down each week, and then I'll dive into the lunar cycles as well. So the first week of October, we've got this diamonds energy. It's all about your values, what's most important to you. It's giving you an opportunity to focus in from a material experience within the body also, of coming into that awareness of what's most important to you. If you already know your top 3 values, I encourage you to go look at them again and see if they've changed. Upgrade your value. If you don't know your top 3 values, then reach out to me and we will figure it out, or find somebody that you can work with to discover what those values are. So important, because if you don't know what's most important to you, you have no roadmap for where you're going. And it will be so easy to get pulled off track and to get distracted. There is going to be a lot of noise out there, and it's time for you to turn off the noise and listen to what's coming from the inside out. And if you don't know your values, that's going to be really difficult. So you need to know your values. Now, that first week is about setting intentions, finding that focus, finding those values. And then you move into week 2, which is all about the clubs being about communication, expression, creativity, how we move that value out into the world, how we're contributing to the world with our voice, with our words, with our expression, hand signals too, all of the things, okay? So as we go through that first week of the clubs, we also have the new moon eclipse coming in Scorpio. This one's going to be tricky, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. It's going to be a little messy. So October 14th, just be aware, put space in your calendar a couple days before and a couple days after, because it's going to be messy, okay? Week 3, again, we have the clubs. We're still in the shadow of that new moon and in that eclipse. So that week might be a little bit bumpy as we clean out the mess. I find it really interesting, you know, the full moon and the new moon, usually the new moon is for setting new intentions and the full moon is for release. They're opposite in October, that the new moon is going to feel more of a release and the full moon is going to be more of a setting intention. So that October 14th is going to be release time. So create space for that. Then we move into the fourth week where we move into the hearts, all about how we relate to others, our connections, our relationships, the feeling state. And this is, again, we've got a full moon and another eclipse coming in. Stay focused. Focus, focus, focus. And what do I mean by focus? Who are you? What do you want? Why do you want it? What are the three things that are most important to you and why? That's what you focus on. And your actions will be dictated by that focus. You don't need to figure it all out. You don't need to know how. All you need to know is those things, those values, what's most important to you, and they will point you in the direction you need to go. All right. So October 14th, Scorpio new moon, eclipse season. We've got an 8 of clubs ruling 4. This is a release of the old story. The 8 of clubs, if you're familiar with tarot, is just like the 8 of swords. This is an opportunity to break down your prison walls, to let go, to remove past influence, to surrender, to experience grace, to release. We cannot control our outside experience. We cannot do it. Whatever noise is happening out there, whatever the news is trying to say to us, whatever other people are doing, whatever is happening in the financial market, in the real estate market, in the interest rates, whatever is happening out there is irrelevant and it is none of your business. What is your business is the story you tell yourself day to day, moment to moment. That doesn't mean you can't have a crappy day, because you totally can. It's the regular default pattern that you go to. When you look at your bank account, do you freak out every single time because there's not enough money there? When you look at your weekly calendar and you realize you've got no calls and no potential clients, do you freak out or do you do something about it? What's the story you're telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you are secure, you're safe, you're abundant, you're wealthy, you're connected, you belong? Or are you telling yourself a story that's not supporting you? Pay attention, because that new moon is a gateway to your future. It is the opportunity for you to choose a new story. And even if the story you're telling yourself is pretty dang good, make it better. Because here's the thing. In this reality that we perceive ourselves to be in, I love language sometimes. In this reality that we find ourselves in right now, nothing can be proven to be true. Whatever you believe is true is correct. So if you believe that you're broke, that you don't have time, that you're too busy, that you're distracted by this, that this is happening out there, then you're right. And if you believe that you are wealthy and abundant and if you live an extraordinary life, then you're right. So if you're making it all up anyway, you ought to make that story so dang good that every morning you wake up and you're like, yes, I get to live this story. That's what this new moon is about. So in that surrender and in that grace that's required to let go of the ego's story, it's going to be a little bumpy, because we all know we're attached to our stories and we love to hang on to our beliefs. But here's the thing, would you rather be right or would you rather live extraordinary? So there's going to be some really funky things happening during that new moon, unexpected occurrences. There's going to be stuff happening in the news. There's going to be all sorts of things. And it's going to stir things up because it's preparing us for that total solar eclipse in April. So with that, recognize new structures are being built, new foundations are being built. That 4 energy is saying, build a new foundation of your beliefs, how you move about the world, a new foundation of what you're committed to, and shut out all the noise, because the noise is none of your business. Okay? We're tearing down the old in order to build the new. That's really like the law of entropy and evolution. We cannot build on a crumbling foundation. And so we are starting to build a new thing. Well, in that, we're pioneers. We're literally moving into the wild, wild west. We don't know what that looks like. The only way we create it is by dreaming it, visualizing it, committing to it, and taking action on it, and letting go of all those old stories. So your perspective on your reality will be questioned. Will you let go and surrender and choose a new story, or will you hang on and create a ball and chain for yourself? Okay. Now, it might feel comfortable and grounding to stay in the old story because it's familiar there, but it's actually holding you down. No matter what story you're telling yourself, whether you think it's of service to you or not, it's holding you back. So there's going to be themes around frustration, fear. There may be disagreements rising up. Scorpio energies, no joke. And the invitation is to not be stubborn. Release control. Just, Jesus, take the wheel. Let go, let God. Don't try to control, because you can't. You can't control anything that's out there. Resistance will create struggle. Be in charge of your own experience. Decide that you're going to experience this no matter what. Decide for you. Don't decide for your kids. Don't decide for your spouse. Don't decide for your clients. Don't decide for anyone but you. The rest of it out there is none of your business. Okay? Be mindful of people pleasing and clean up your mess. Clean it up. If you've got note papers everywhere, if you've got thoughts and beliefs and all sorts of stuff hanging out in here, if you've got emotional mess, clean it up. Clean it up. Dot your I's and cross your T's. I almost said dot your T's and cross your I's. You know what I mean. Take care of those little niggling things and get rid of them. Clean them up. Clean up your mess. Get rid of that niggling tasks, because they're holding energy. They're holding energy, and they're a story you're telling yourself. So clean it up so that you can let go of that story and not tell it anymore. If there's a hard conversation you need to have it. If you need to clean out that garage that you haven't cleaned out in 6 months and it's driving you nuts, but you just haven't had time to do it, do it. Get it done. Clean it up. This new moon eclipse is a window from your past to your future. It is a huge opportunity, and I cannot stress enough, take advantage of it. Don't just listen to this forecast and go, that was really cool, Cindy, I loved it. Oh my gosh. Do something. Do something with it. And if you need help planning and you need help looking at your calendar and figuring out how you're going to get it all done, I've got something for you. You can book a reading with me. I'm opening up 5 spots where you can plan out your month based on your personal rhythm of divine timing, based on your life experience, your business, whatever's going on for you. And we'll dig deep and we'll look at your calendar and we'll plan it out for you. Okay. So what's happening with this new moon is a culmination of the last 3 years of story and stuff and emotional stuff and all the thoughts. It's a culmination of all the last 3 years coming together it's all like coming to a head. It's coming to a head. So we may be seeing in the news things rising up again, none of your business. We may see a lot of chaos in the world. It's really the old control structures coming apart. You cannot hold on anymore. So let go, let it out. Stop avoiding the mess. Right? I am somebody who's very organized, but there's definitely some things in my life experience where I'm like, out of sight, out of mind, but it's never out of your mind. It's always there, holding on. So get rid of it, clean it up, okay? In the midst of the storm, you're going to discover what's real for you, what's really most important. You will see your truth. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you've been so busy. I can feel that. Maybe you've been so busy and caught up in things that you've forgotten your truth. This new moon will bring that back for you. So don't be hard on yourself. Talk it out. Get somebody to support you. Be willing to go where your intuition guides you, because you will not have it figured out in the material experience. Don't try to be busy. Don't try to get it all done. Just pick away at stuff, clean it up, take it easy. It is a release. So if you are looking at your calendar and you're like, wow, I'm really busy around that week, slow it down, trim it back, do what you can to clean things up and simplify. Okay, then we've got a full moon. How are we doing so far? All right, so we move into the full moon in Taurus, October 28th, also an eclipse energy with a 7 of hearts ruling 9. Now, this energy may feel like you're a little bit in between worlds. That new moon is still cleaning stuff out, letting go of the last 3 years of culmination of crap. And the full moon is saying, here's some new inspiration and new ideas. So remember how I said the moons feel reversed this month? This is why. Because this full moon in Taurus is going to feel like a rush of energy that's bringing in inspiration, new ideas, new connections, new relationships. All the new is coming in, and you're not going to know where it's coming from or why it's coming, because the 7 and the 9 are saying, trust, have faith. I told you it was all going to work out, right? This is why we can't control our material experience, because the universe is working on our behalf. And we've just got to focus on the stories we're telling ourselves and the things we're feeling, and hold true to the story that it's all going to work out, and it will. Your job is to pay attention to the story. Okay. So when you get ideas during this full moon period, take action immediately. Don't worry about having it all figured out. Do not wait for all your ducks to be in a row. We all know about the ducks around here. There's one on the roof, one in the meadow, and one in the back of the cop car. So really, just take action, just go. The actions that you take during this full moon will reach far into the future. Remember, we're prepping for that solar eclipse happening in April. So take action now. They will root quickly. Things will happen very fast. Okay. So those actions that you take, you're helping to build the foundation and the framework for this new version of your life that you have decided you're going to do. As you walk through the window of that new moon, you're then setting the foundation during the full moon. But remember, it's an 8 energy month, and you're going to want to have it all figured out right now. And you're going to want to make sure that your foundation's set and that you've got it all figured out. Not your job. All you have to do is say, I trust my intuition. My intuition says, go that way. Oh, that doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you go that way and you discover. And if this is scary to you, please reach out to me. This is what I help my clients do, is leap into that unknown. Now, Taurus energy is all about business development, routines, habits. It's very grounded energy. It's about your framework. It's about your finances. It's about the home. It's that grounded energy. So it's really about looking at ways of creating revenue, looking at structures and systems. It's really about coming into more of that grounded energy. It's about marketing, expanding your reach, putting yourself out there, getting more clients. We're going to start to feel a shift in the end of the month, whereas the last few months have been really challenging for coaches because there's so much noise. That's going to start to shift as we get through this time. Okay. So you'll have this desire for more sustainability, more security, more safety. Remember the story you're telling yourself, right? I am safe. I'm secure. I'm wealthy. Not, oh shit, look at my bank account, right? What is in your bank account cannot be controlled, so stop focusing on it. All you need to do is come here. If you need help with that, find me, find someone who can help you. Now, everything's going to feel urgent and important. So again, this is why I said at the beginning of the month, make sure you know those 3 things that are most important to you, because that's what's urgent and important, not all the other stuff. Don't get distracted now. Stay the course. That 8 energy says rest, breathe, trust. Rest, breathe, trust. Take action. Forgot that one. Make sure you're taking action. Okay. If you rest, you feel like, I'm going to drop all the balls. I'm juggling all this stuff. And what if I screw it all up? Don't worry about it. The universe has got you. The universe has got you. Notice where you're spending your time and your energy, where there's no return on investment. It's one thing to watch Netflix for a little bit. It's another thing to watch Netflix for 3 days straight. Where are you focusing your energy that is giving you a return on investment? And where are you focusing it where it's not? Just notice that. Okay. Direct your energy consciously. Be very aware. The world is none of your business. What your business is what's happening up here in the story you're telling yourself, and what's happening here in your frequency and your energy. That's all that matters. Safety is an inside job. So If this feels scary, if this feels daunting, if this feels like, I don't even know what to do with myself for the next month, I am opening up 5 spots in my calendar next week, where you can book a reading with me, a divine timing reading, where we're going to look at where you're at in your personal cycle. We're going to look at the different layers of divine timing that you have within your own personal experience. We're going to look at your intention for the month, and we're going to create a plan to help you move forward. So if that's of interest to you and you want to book a reading with me, they're going to go fast. So make sure you send me a DM and I'll get you in the calendar next week so that you can set your October up for success. This is really going to help you to implement what you want, move the needle forward, and not get distracted, so that you can step into this new version of your life. So if this is of interest to you, email me, send me a DM. I will put a link in places where you can get that if you need it. And yeah, don't miss out on these. They will go fast.